When a loved one leaves behind a will, their wishes should be honored. It's a final expression of their intentions, making it all the more important to respect and carry them out. However, King Charles and Queen Camilla chose not to follow a specific request, leading Prince William to urge them to fulfill his late grandmother's final wishes. What exactly did Queen Elizabeth II's will contain that made Charles and Camilla hesitant to comply? The controversy surrounding her will left many questioning the royal family's decision. The year 2022 was marked by deep sorrow as the beloved Queen Elizabeth II passed away, leaving behind not only a remarkable legacy but also significant responsibilities for her family. Throughout her 70-year reign, she shaped the nation and touched countless lives. Even after her passing, her influence remained strong. But what did her will state that caused such a stir? The next generation she hoped would bring positive change to the country remained uncertain, as her will was sealed immediately upon her passing, following royal tradition that had been upheld for over 2 centuries. Queen Elizabeth II's death may have felt sudden to many, but she passed away peacefully, without pain. Only a few were aware of her final moments on September 8th, and the news of her passing was not publicly announced until later that day. Just 2 days earlier, with her signature warm smile, she had appointed her 15th and final British Prime Minister, Liz Truss. On September 7th, concerns about the Queen's health grew when she postponed a virtual Privy Council meeting on her doctor's advice. Simon Case, the cabinet secretary, was informed that her condition could decline rapidly. He relayed this information to Truss, who had only just taken office, leaving everyone anxiously hoping she would recover. Sadly, those fears became reality, and as the Queen's helicopter departed, the world prepared to say goodbye to a beloved monarch. Before 7 a.m. on September 8th, a helicopter was dispatched to take the Prince of Wales from Dumfries House, where he had spent the night, to Balmoral to be by his mother's side. Prince Charles arrived shortly before 10:20 a.m., while the Duchess of Cornwall was driven from nearby Birkhall to join him. Princess Anne, who was already in Scotland for official engagements, was also present. By this time, both Simon Case and Liz Truss knew that the news everyone feared was only hours away. Truss, still settling into her role as Prime Minister, had not yet fully moved into Downing Street. Aides were sent to her home in Greenwich to retrieve black clothing, preparing for the inevitable announcement. Meanwhile, key government figures were being informed. Some ministers, just arriving at their new offices, were met with solemn updates about the Queen's condition. Hints of the unfolding situation reached the public through the House of Commons, where the Queen's name is rarely mentioned in daily proceedings. Around noon, a discreet note was passed to the Prime Minister and other senior ministers, signaling that Britain was about to lose its longest-serving monarch. Buckingham Palace released an official statement about the Queen's declining health, triggering widespread concern. Diplomatic meetings and scheduled calls were cancelled, heightening the sense of urgency. Within 2 hours, all senior members of the royal family were en route to Scotland, travelling by air or land to be by her side. At 6:30 p.m. that evening, the official announcement of Queen Elizabeth II's passing was made. However, when her death certificate was released weeks later, it confirmed that she had passed away at exactly 3:10 p.m. on September 8, 2022. Sadly, Prince William, Prince Harry, and some other royals did not make it in time to say their final goodbyes. The royal family was informed of her passing before the public, but Prince Harry, unable to be reached in time, only learned the heartbreaking news when it was officially announced. Her funeral proceedings lasted for 11 days, with thousands of mourners paying their respects as she lay in state. After a solemn committal service at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, Queen Elizabeth was laid to rest alongside her beloved husband, Prince Philip, in the King George VI Memorial Chapel. 19th of September, 2022. A new king, Prince Charles, has always received close media attention from a young age when he was mature enough to marry. He married Diana. Diana was from a noble family, with a close relationship with the royal family, so their matchmaking did not surprise many. Then, when she was 20 years old, she was engaged to Prince Charles at the time. Princess Diana subsequently resided at Buckingham Palace until the wedding. Their wedding was later held at St. Paul's Cathedral, which offered more seating than Westminster Abbey. The service was widely described as a fairy tale wedding. It was watched globally with an audience of 750 million people at the same time, 600. Roi hon fein thuitsi, doan thivoindi. Varo spectators lined the streets to catch a glimpse of the couple en route to the ceremony. The royal family loved and accepted her, especially late Queen Elizabeth. Within a few years of the wedding, the Queen extended Diana visible tokens of membership in the royal family, lending her the Queen Mary's Lovers, not tiara, and granting her the badge of the Royal Family Order of Elizabeth II. Diana always felt lonely in her marriage, because Prince Charles was always there, and seemed to show that he wasn't in love with her when she was pregnant with her first son. She almost lost the baby when she intentionally threw herself down the staircase because she felt inadequate. However, the unborn baby was uninjured and was later delivered in 1982. After her first pregnancy, she subsequently suffered from postpartum depression. Media criticism struck the new mother. So she took baby Williams on her first major tours of Australia and New Zealand, which were popularly applauded 2 years later. She gave birth to her second son, Harry, when she was pregnant with Harry. Her relationship with Charles was closer than during her first pregnancy. Princess Diana gave her sons wider experiences than usual for royal children. She wanted them to not just know the reality of the world outside the royal walls, but also to understand that millions of people out there don't have the privilege they had, and they should always give support. These people. Additionally, she chose their first given names, dismissed a royal family nanny, and engaged one of her choosing, selected their schools and clothing, planned their outings, and took them to school herself as often as her schedule permitted. She also organized her public duties around their timetables. Diana was reported to have described Harry as naughty, just like me and William, as my little wise old man, whom she started to rely on as her confidant by his early teens. 3 years later, Prince Charles and Princess Diana's incompatibility and age difference became visible and damaged their relationship. In 1986, she began dating James Whitt, the royal family's writing instructor. On the other hand, Prince Charles already had a mistress, Camilla Shand. Prince Charles and Princess Diana's relationship became more sour as they began to show a cold attitude toward each other. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip expressed their disappointment toward their respective extramarital affairs and even tried to mend their relationship, but it was unsuccessful. The couple became even more estranged and bitter toward each other. 10 years later, they finalized their divorce. However, 1 year after their divorce, Princess Diana lost her life in a car accident. Prince Charles wasn't exactly the media's favorite. Throughout this whole scandal, it took a wrong turn when Princess Diana passed away. But after some time, the criticism faded afterward. In 2005, Prince Charles proposed to Camilla Parker Bowes, formerly Camilla Shand. The same. Camilla, he had an affair with years back. The backlash after his engagement announcement was released was tremendous. All the negative views about Camilla sprouted, and Princess Diana was again remembered. The royal family didn't accept their marriage, so the service was held at St. George's Chapel, making their wedding civil rather than royal the Queen. or even Camilla's parents did not attend this marriage ceremony. However, Queen Elizabeth had a reception for them at Windsor Castle. After their wedding, Camilla was appointed Duchess of Cornwall instead of Princess of Wales, as it should have been, although the Queen extended visible tokens of membership in the royal family to Camilla and lent her the Greville tiara. She was not accepted into the royal family's inner circle. Then came Queen Elizabeth's passing in 2022 and the coronation of King Charles in the same year as usual. She was given the title Queen Consort, and all efforts to bear the title Queen instead of Queen Consort proved not the senior royal family. Members, especially Prince William and Princess Anne, never. Buckingham Palace released an official statement about the Queen's declining health, triggering widespread concern. Diplomatic meetings and scheduled calls were cancelled, heightening the sense of urgency. Within 2 hours, all senior members of the royal family were en route to Scotland, traveling by air or land to be by her side. At 6:30 p.m. that evening, the official announcement of Queen Elizabeth II's passing was made. However, when her death certificate was released weeks later, it confirmed that she had passed away at exactly 3:10 p.m. on September 8, 2022. Sadly, Prince William, Prince Harry, and some other royals did not make it in time to say their final goodbyes. The royal family was informed of her passing before the public, but Prince Harry, unable to be reached in time, only learned the heartbreaking news when it was officially announced. Her funeral proceedings lasted for 11 days, with hundreds of thousands of mourners paying their respects as she lay in state. After a solemn committal service at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, Queen Elizabeth was laid to rest alongside her beloved husband, Prince Philip, in the King George VI Memorial Chapel. Kate Middleton, now the Princess of Wales, was warmly welcomed into the royal family and embraced by the public. Unlike Queen Camilla, Kate quickly gained widespread admiration for her grace, charitable efforts, and composed demeanor. Upon marrying Prince William, she was given the prestigious title of Princess of Wales, a title once held by Princess Diana, further solidifying her place in the hearts of the people. While Kate and her stepmother-in-law, Queen Camilla, are not particularly close, they maintain a respectful and civil relationship. However, comparisons between the two have persisted over the years. Even as queen, Camilla's presence is often overshadowed by Kate's popularity and influence. This public favor has also benefited Prince William, at times outshining his father, King Charles III. To this day, Queen Camilla continues to seek full acceptance within the royal family, but public perception remains largely unchanged. Her past controversies have cast a shadow over her image, influencing how the public views King Charles as well. Could the strained dynamic between Prince William and Queen Camilla be one of the reasons behind his efforts to secure greater acceptance for his father and stepmother? The late Queen Mother's will. Why won't they accept it? Stay tuned for more details. In 2024, Britain faced unexpected news when King Charles was diagnosed with cancer. Just months earlier, he had been receiving treatment for another illness, only to be met with yet another serious health challenge at the age of 75. On his doctor's advice, the king temporarily stepped back from public duties, focusing instead on state matters and official paperwork while undergoing treatment. His decision to publicly share his diagnosis was meant to prevent speculation and to raise awareness about the struggles faced by cancer patients worldwide. Before making the Autordi news public, he first informed his family members. Despite stepping away from royal engagements, he continued to receive his daily red boxes filled with important documents requiring his attention. Now, a year later, there has been no official update on the king's health, leading to speculation that he is still undergoing treatment. The uncertainty surrounding his condition has left many wondering about the future of the monarchy. Following his coronation, King Charles once hinted at the possibility of passing the throne to Prince William. However, as time has passed, it seems his reign will continue for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, Prince William has earned the title of Britain's New Rock. Though he is not yet king, he has stepped up in ways that have strengthened his role within the royal family, especially during the challenging year when both his wife, Kate Middleton, and his father, King Charles, were battling cancer. Despite the difficulties, William took on many royal duties, filling the gap left by his younger brother's departure from royal life. His dedication and resilience did not go unnoticed, earning him the admiration of the public. Many have even compared him to his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, calling him her modern-day reincarnation. While King Charles holds the crown, Prince William's popularity often eclipses his reign. Public favor leans toward the Prince of Wales, largely due to lingering controversies from King Charles's past, particularly his highly publicized relationship with Queen Camilla, which played a role in the tragic downfall of Princess Diana. Additionally, the widespread admiration for Princess Kate only strengthens William's standing, further shaping the future of the monarchy. British citizens continue to show unwavering support for Prince William, even amid past controversies and public debates. Many believe that the Princess of Wales has a strong chance of becoming Queen of England in the future, alongside Prince William as king. However, reports suggest that King Charles and Queen Camilla have been cautious about offering Kate any guidance regarding her potential role as queen. King Charles and Princess Kate have shared a bond, particularly during their battles with cancer. While the king has long admired her resilience and grace, qualities that led him to appoint her as a royal companion of honor, he has yet to fully endorse her future as queen. Though he recognizes her ability to uphold the royal family's legacy, at the highest level, he has not taken steps to prepare her for the role. This reluctance has only fueled speculation about his true stance on Kate's future. Some see his acknowledgement of her strength as a positive sign, while others believe he is hesitant to discuss the possibility of her eventual rise to the throne. There's growing speculation that King Charles may not remain on the throne for long, though he seems determined to reign as long as he can. This might explain why Queen Camilla has yet to have a meaningful conversation with Princess Kate about what it truly means to become Queen of England. For now, King Charles appears focused on upholding the sacred British traditions so dearly treasured by the late Queen Elizabeth. After Queen Elizabeth's passing, she left behind a collection of assets, including estates, bonds, investments, and her beloved horses. King Charles inherited these treasured animals, reflecting the royal family's deep and lasting connection to horses. The late Queen's stables housed a variety of well-trained breeds, but what made them so special wasn't their monetary value. It was her genuine love for the animals and their place in royal heritage. This lifelong bond began when Elizabeth was just a child. At age 4, she received her first horse, a Shetland pony named Peggy, a precious gift from her grandfather, King George V. By the age of 6, she was already riding, marking the start of a passion that would follow her throughout her remarkable life. By the time Queen Elizabeth turned 18, she was already an accomplished rider and continued to enjoy horseback riding well into her 90s. Over the years, she owned and cared for dozens of thoroughbred horses, a passion that remained a key part of her life. During her reign, Queen Elizabeth became deeply involved in horse racing, inheriting the breeding and racing stock of her father, King George V, in 1952. Until the late 1960s, she raced both horses she bred herself and those bred by the National Stud. Her racing colors, worn by jockeys riding her horses, remained unchanged from those used by her father and great-grandfather, King Edward VII, a purple and scarlet jacket with gold braiding and a black cap. By 2013, horses owned by the Queen had won over 1,600 races, including every British classic race except the Epsom Derby. Between 2007 and 2022, 41 horses racing under the royal colours were gifted to her. After her passing, these prized horses were inherited by her son and successor, King Charles III. The new king, now in charge of the royal stables, had his own approach to managing this cherished legacy. King Charles had his first racing victory as monarch with Just Fine at Leicester in October 2022. However, later that month, it was announced that he would be selling 14 of the late Queen's horses, including Just Fine and her final winner, Love Affairs. Within weeks, Charles sold 30 of the nearly 100 thoroughbreds he had inherited from his mother, earning an estimated $2 to $25 million. Unlike Queen Elizabeth, he did not share the same deep passion for horse racing. In 2022, Queen Camilla took over management of the royal stables, but controversy soon followed. She went on to sell even more horses, a decision that did not sit well with Princess Anne. When Anne discovered what had happened, she was furious, arguing that Camilla had no authority to sell the royal horses. The situation escalated when Anne learned that Camilla had sold them only to replace them with new horses intended for exclusive family use. In response, Princess Anne took firm action. She restricted Queen Camilla's travel and temporarily banned her from the palace. Additionally, she assumed control over the remaining prized horses, ensuring that the legacy of the Queen's beloved equestrian heritage remained protected. Princess Anne has always been vocal about her disapproval of Queen Consort Camilla's actions, staying true to the values set by Queen Elizabeth. Committed to preserving Britain's traditions and heritage, she never hesitates to challenge the Queen Consort when necessary. Born in 1950 as the second child of Princess Elizabeth, Anne experienced a typical royal upbringing at Buckingham Palace. She later joined the Girl Guides, which helped her connect with girls her age. Her education continued at Benenden School, where she studied for 5 years, earning 6 GCE O-levels and 2 A-levels. At 18, she stepped into her royal duties, and just a year later, she was romantically linked to Andrew Parker Bowles, who would later marry Camilla. Camilla Shand later married King Charles, Princess Anne's older brother, making tensions between them almost inevitable. However, Anne inherited her mother's deep passion for equestrian sports. Unlike her brother, she began riding at a young age, and by 21, she had already won a championship. She competed with the British eventing team for over 5 years, winning silver medals in both individual and team events at the 1975 European Eventing Championship. The following year, she represented Britain at the 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal, riding the Queen's horse, Goodwill. Reflecting on the event, she once shared that she couldn't recall completing the rest of the jumps after suffering a concussion halfway through the course. Despite this, she remounted and finished the event. Unfortunately, the British team had to withdraw when 2 of their horses sustained injuries. Over the years, Anne has never lost her love for horse riding. She once served as the patron of the Riding for the Disabled Association, furthering her dedication to the sport and its accessibility. Princess Anne first became involved with the Riding for the Disabled Association in 1971 and was later appointed its president 14 years later, a position she still holds today. A year ago, she was taken to Southmead Hospital with minor injuries and a concussion, believed to have been caused by an impact from a horse's leg or head. After months of recovery, she returned to the hospital to personally thank the medical staff for their prompt care and treatment during her stay. In 1968, Anne married Mark Phillips, a lieutenant in the 1st Queen's Dragoon Guards. Like her, he had a deep love for horses, and their shared passion made for a harmonious marriage that lasted 21 years. The couple had 2 children and later became grandparents to 5 grandchildren. However, by 1992, they had grown apart, rarely appearing in public together and reportedly being romantically linked to other people. Although they initially announced their separation and shared custody of their children without plans for divorce, Anne officially filed in 1992, and the marriage was legally dissolved just 10 days later. By the time Princess Anne separated from her first husband, she had already met Timothy Lawrence, a commander in the Royal Navy, and the two had begun a relationship. In 1992, the same year her divorce from Mark Phillips was finalized, she married Timothy in a small ceremony in Scotland. The wedding was conducted by the Church of Scotland, which, unlike the Church of England, did not consider marriage a binding sacrament, allowing remarriage under certain conditions. This made Anne the first royal divorcee to remarry since Princess Victoria Melita of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Known for her unwavering commitment to tradition, Anne has often been described as the royal family's most reliable anchor. Her dedication to public service has also earned her a reputation as a symbol of steadfast duty, having undertaken more than 20,000 engagements since turning 18. Despite being second in line to the throne at the time, she defied expectations in her early adulthood by choosing not to give her children royal titles, a decision that led many to view her as a royal renegade. The media has often described Princess Anne as aloof, even nicknaming her royal rudeness due to her sharp tongue, something she inherited from her father. However, she is widely recognized as the hardest-working royal, having completed an impressive 18,000 engagements between 2002 and 2022, more than any other member of the royal family. Anne is both a strict enforcer of protocol and an occasional rule breaker. She prefers to do her own hair and makeup, drives herself to engagements, and doesn't shake hands with the public during walkabouts. At her daughter's horse competitions, she queues for the portable toilets, just like everyone else. While she may seem reserved, she carries herself with grace and courtesy. When asked twice in the past decade whether she plans to retire, she has firmly denied any such intention. Since 1970, Anne has served as the president of Save the Children UK, the first major charity she became deeply involved with. Though it took her time and courage to step into the role, her work with the organization has given her invaluable insight into the needs of children worldwide. Through her work with Save the Children UK, Princess Anne has gained a deep understanding of global issues, particularly those affecting developing countries. She has traveled extensively to visit the organization's projects in nations such as China, Cambodia, Botswana, Madagascar, and the Philippines. However, Save the Children is just one of many causes she supports. Anne is involved with over 300 charities, organizations, and military regiments both in the United Kingdom and internationally. A significant portion of her time is dedicated to official visits, championing various causes. Among the many charities she supports, the Princess Royal Trust for Carers stands out. This organization provides vital assistance to millions of caregivers across the UK. She is also actively involved with TransAid and Riders for Health, which work to improve transportation systems in developing countries, ensuring better access to essential services. Another notable charity under her patronage is Victim Support. Founded in Bristol by activists concerned about the lack of support for victims within the criminal justice system in England and Wales, the organization has grown significantly under Anne's leadership, advocating for those affected by crime. Today, Victim Support helps over 140,000 people every year who have been affected by mistreatment, fraud, hate crimes, and other offenses. The charity also provides crucial support to those grieving the loss of loved ones in murder and manslaughter cases. Now, turning back to Queen Elizabeth's will, like every royal member who has passed away, her will is sealed and will remain. So for 90 years, only to be unsealed by the royal archives. When that time comes, it will be read to her living descendants, and only then can its contents and wishes be carried out. However, her grandson, Prince William, who envisions a more modern monarchy, reportedly intends to honor his late grandmother's final wishes before the 90-year mandate expires. While this may seem unconventional, his commitment to reforming the monarchy has been evident since becoming first in line to the throne. Reshaping century-old traditions has been one of his top priorities, as he seeks to shape a new future for Britain. Prince William's vision for a modernized Britain may align with his grandmother's wishes, though Queen Elizabeth never explicitly endorsed the idea of a new Britain. Throughout her reign, she remained politically neutral, yet her speeches and actions often reflected her perspective on progress. She demonstrated a willingness to embrace change, adapting the monarchy to evolving times while maintaining its core values. One of her greatest priorities was the Commonwealth, showcasing her dedication to unity among nations. She also deeply valued public service and duty, emphasizing that any future version of Britain should be built upon these principles. What better way to uphold these values than by recognizing their evolution over time? Although Queen Elizabeth embraced modernization, she also held a deep respect for the traditions and heritage that shaped the nation. While certain long-standing customs may need adjustments to support growth, completely discarding them should not be an option. Balancing tradition with progress is challenging, but not impossible. It requires careful consideration and respect for the past while looking toward the future. The challenges and events surrounding his mother's passing shaped Prince William's outlook in many ways. However, his strong bond with Queen Elizabeth wasn't automatic. It developed over time. Because of this, it's clear that her vision for Britain deeply influenced him. Today, his goals for the country reflect those ideals, though he also believes in modernizing certain outdated traditions that no longer serve a purpose. For centuries, Britain's monarchy has passed down power through inheritance, with each royal child trained for their future role. King Charles III, as a senior member of the royal family, remains deeply committed to these long-standing traditions. Because of this, he resists his son's push for a more modern Britain. One of Prince William's more controversial intentions is to make Queen Elizabeth's will public, a move that would challenge the nation's traditions. If the contents reveal unexpected details, it could further deepen the divisions within the royal family. Despite the Queen's written wishes, her estate, especially the massive royal properties, remains unchanged, adding to the family's internal confusion. King Charles was well aware that his vision for Britain differed from his son's and, possibly, even his mother's. He would likely prefer to keep certain details hidden, at least until his reign ends. Meanwhile, the contents of the late Queen's will remain a mystery, as royal wills are traditionally sealed for nearly a century. Should Prince William have to fight for his grandmother's wishes to be honored? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our other videos on the screen before you go.